Okay, YouTube, this is DrKendo, and I'm back with Scribblenauts Unlimited. This is the object editor commentaries where I create your favorite video game, movie, TV, nerd, and geek culture related items, except for YouTubers. In this game, which is called Scribblenauts Unlimited, and we're using one of the features of it called the object editor, we're starting off with a golem as the source object for today's creations. And this would be the Minions from the new movie, of course, Minions. Well, relatively new movie. At the time of this recording, we have the golem shoulder piece after we took off the head, the arms, even the feet. After all of that, I used the golem shoulder piece to be the little pocket in the front on their overalls. And we've got this rectangle that's actually going to be a part of their skin. And I'm looking for a specific arm piece. I don't remember. I think it's right here on this page, the 23rd page on the 29-page library. So of course, this is based off of promotional images that I've seen for the Minions movie, because unfortunately, I still have not yet seen the actual movie. I'm so sad. But I know that there are 3 of the Minions, and so right now we're creating Kevin first, and he's like the tall, probably the thinnest one, I would say too. And so we used Kenpo's arm as the arm. Put it on the golem's actually shoulder grid, not on its hand grid shape part. Like right here, you can see that I have the green grids activated. Those green grids, basically, when you press them, it's the top right button in the little panel. They show where the head is, the body, the feet, the legs. Sometimes arms are separate from the hands, like is the case with the golem. It kind of has 2 different arm pieces. And then we've got a sphere that we've doubled up for the goggles or whatever that the Minions are wearing. And of course, Kevin is one of the Minions with 2 eyes. So we've given him another set of spheres that are white, whereas the first set of spheres were like that silvery metallic pattern. And a Techno Viking is going to be for the legs. I picked this because, we really don't want the leg to show up because we've got the golem leg right there already. Or thigh, I guess. But the Minions have really short little legs, and so we just want the Techno Viking's feet. You could try to use like a moccasin, the shoe, as just the feet, but my only problem with that is that as you're positioning it, there seems to be like there would be a little bit of gap, between that and the legs. It doesn't really fit right, I think, proportionally. But we used a cat tail, which you can grab either from the 29-page library or you can type it in, and that's the smile, or smile-ish. And then we've got pearl for the eyes, for the brown part of the eyes, the colored part, and the pupil is pimple. So 2 pimples for that. Whisker is going to be for his hairs. He's got like sprout hairs, so we'll probably do this twice. I don't think one will suffice. I'm just kind of making some adjustments first. But yeah, I want the sprouts to basically be going either which direction, kind of straight up and then out to the side just a little bit. So we've mostly got our Minion design, it's mostly finished, I would say, for Kevin right now. We do need to add some straps for the overalls, suspender-like pieces. So I'll grab 2 of the arms, one from the top right, one from the bottom middle on the 20th page of the 29-page library. And these arms, we can just kind of position them on the body, but then move them up to where they are basically just below where, his head and his body meet, basically. And within those suspender straps, we'll have the buttons that attach them. So I'll go ahead and put that, just do button and use the close button, of course, not the mechanical button. So now it's just basically a matter of moving every little piece to where it needs to be, and I think that we're pretty much there. So we'll name it Kevin. So we're gonna go ahead and of course edit the scripting and properties, and so whenever I do that in this series, since it's not really action-packed and there's not a lot to see on screen, I like to read background information or fun facts for anybody who may or may not know about the creations that we're making in each episode. So for today, the Minions movie, of course, it is a prequel or spin-off of the franchise where they became quite popular, which was Despicable Me. And the movie actually was first foreshadowed in the end credits of Despicable Me 2, where Stuart, Kevin, and Bob, the 3 starring Minions, are seen auditioning for the film. The Minions movie takes the trio on a quest to rid their depression by finding a new master. Enter Scarlet Overkill. And no, just as an aside, I did not forget to make her, and I didn't forget to make her husband or anything like that. The popular request this week was just for the Minions, and that's it. But anyway, I have not yet seen the movie as of the time of this recording and uploading, which is in very early August of 2015, but I am certainly a fan of the little yellow guys, so I do hope to see it soon, and they were definitely my favorite part of the Despicable Me movies, which fortunately I have seen, so at least I can say that so far. And it looks as though, as of July 26th, 2015, Minions, the movie, has grossed $262.5 million in the United States and $497.8 $48 million in other territories for a worldwide total of over $759 million. It even topped the worldwide box office for 3 consecutive weekends. Unfortunately, depending on where you read, it seems critics haven't fully received the movie well. Well, it's about half and half, really, I would say. Some seem to think it's alright, but then others hold the belief that making an actual movie about the Minions is kind of too much of a good thing, or cashing in on something we loved when we were younger, that sort of thing. But I don't know, I hope to form an opinion of my own soon, by going and seeing the movie, of course. But what you're noticing here is I'm doing some scripting for whenever the Minions move near an object. I'm just gonna have it whenever they move near a humanoid. They express an emotion, and so Scribblenauts Unlimited has about 6 pages worth of emotions for you to choose from. I'll make them all like laughing or sticking their tongue out and stuff like that, just kind of goofy emotions and things. And so the good thing for this creation is that now that we've created one of them, we sort of have the basis for the designs on our other ones. Now, Stuart and Bob are not going to be exactly like Kevin, but they are similar in certain ways, like we can keep kind of the golem body and almost everything around that, and so just mostly we'll change the head, and of course the hair that's on top of that head. Now, Stuart, his hair kind of just goes to either side, you know, it's like combed to either side, and so for this, we'll just keep those 2 whiskers, but we'll put them parted. So I've, of course, increased the size of the golem's body, but I've made the entire object as a whole smaller because Stuart is shorter. It's looking pretty good here. I'm not sure if we'll have enough stamp space for the little white dot in the eye. I'm just gonna check. Nope. Okay, yeah, that's stamp limit reached. It's one feature of this game, Scribblenauts Unlimited, is actually that it is somewhat limited in that every single piece that we're using to create these objects is actually, it's called a stamp, basically. You know, you can use like this cattail, for instance, for the mouth. That's 1 stamp. And so we've used up basically all of our stamp space, as Scribblenauts Unlimited does have a limit on how many stamps you can use. Yes, I know, it's unfortunate. But that was another reason. It's like, you know, in Despicable Me, for instance, the Minions actually had, you know, a design on the little pocket on their overalls, where you can see I don't have the design. That's because in the preview images, they actually didn't have a design on them as well for the Minions movie. Now, again, it's like if you look up some Minions from Despicable Me, they'll have a little symbol and stuff. And so that's fine. If you have enough stamp space that you want to do it, then go ahead and include it. But for me, you know, you have to pick and choose which things you want to put. So for me, I feel we could use our stamps better elsewhere. And this one actually, it's funny because Bob, you know, he's one of my favorites, and he's actually the only heterochromic Minion, I believe, which means that he has green and brown eyes. So he's got 1 green, 1 brown. But what I was saying is, you know, while Bob is one of my favorites, I need to kind of play around and see what sort of stamp I'm going to use for his head. So I'm just going to have to mess around here. Okay, so it looks like what I've done for the head that I think I'm going to stick with for Bob is actually just a guava turned upside down, and so we've got kind of the fat base part there at the top, and all the rest of it is just tucked underneath the body. So of course it looks like, you know, we've moved everything proportionally to where I kind of want it to be, and the last step after we've made him shortest and fattest is to give him that green eyeball. So there we go, we've colored it, and now we've got our Minions here on the map. They look epic, I think, and this was actually, I'm gonna say it was one of the more challenging creations, I think, for me to figure out, okay, how am I gonna do the head with the body and stuff like that? Because at first I didn't really think of a good head stamp space for them. But as I kept playing with the object editor, I was like, okay, go with what I know, you know, and I like to use the 29-page library arms a lot, so that sort of got me started with Kevin. And then it was sort of easy for the rest of them to go from there, and you can see that the scripting for their emotions is working. You know, we've got Stuart sticking his tongue out, Bob is laughing, and Kevin kind of has a winky face laugh. And then some of the other kind of caveat scripting that I did was, for instance, for Stuart, I made it so that he'll use musical instruments so that he could play the guitar right here. So we put out an electric guitar, for example, and that worked out okay. So we'll move Stuart aside now, and we'll put Bob up there at the top, and I've got 2 use scripts for him. You can, of course, go further than that if you want to with these guys, but I've got him so that he'll use teddy bears. It's basically like childish toys or something like that, but, you know, a teddy bear is included. And then a crown, so we've got him actually, he'll put on the crown when he finds it. So that looks good. I like it. So I hope everybody enjoyed it, you know, taking a look at the Minions here in Scribblenauts Unlimited. The objects are chosen each week for this series based off of whatever is the most popular or most requested by the most amount of different people. So you guys leave it in the comments, and I appreciate everybody's support. We have ended off July, which is Founders Month, because DrKendoCommentaries was founded and started in the month of July, all the way back in 2012. Over 100,000 subscribers and over 400 videos later, we're here with many more good times to come. So I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives as the spectacle begins. down the road of twists and